And let's just go ahead and set our resistance to very, very low. Just turning the legs very slowly as well. And let's sit up together. Drop our shoulders. Allow our arms to be pulled towards the ground with gravity. We're just gonna set our intentions for the day. Notice our breathing as the belly expands. Let's go ahead and bring our hands down onto our handlebars. And as always, just rest your hands there. And let's check in with our posture on the bike. The elbows are slightly bent. Shoulders are away from the ears. Your neck and the rest of your spine are mostly aligned, so we end up with the gaze 5-10 feet out ahead of us. Let's go ahead and bring just a tiny bit of resistance in now. And now I want you to bring your pedal speed up to around 94 RPM. You can just feel for that. Remember, we have our resistance very light right now. We're just trying to loosen up the legs a little bit, bring a little warmth into the muscles. Become present in our body. As we do this, we'll notice the breath starting to pick up a little bit. We'll feel our legs become more smooth and supple in the pedal stroke. And all the while, we want to maintain some awareness of our posture on the bike. One of the things I like to pay attention to are how my hips are feeling on the saddle. We want them to be stable. So we're not bouncing up and down on the saddle. Just feeling our legs loosen, breath start to pick up a little bit. slow your legs down. Leave your resistance right where it is. And let's sit up. Shake our arms out. We just want to check in with ourselves right now. How's the body feeling today? How are the muscles feeling? Let's go ahead and bring a little resistance in now. And let's bring our legs to 90 RPM or so. I want this section to feel like we're on a flat road, rolling along. We're definitely in exercise mode now. We feel the engagement with the muscles. We're noticing the heart rate and the breathing starting to pick up. Let's talk about the full circle pedal stroke. There is a tendency to want to think about it as pushing on the pedal, or maybe stomping on the pedal. But what we really want is to integrate a full circle pedal stroke. Now certainly a great portion of the power in your pedaling comes from the downstroke. That's true. But good pedaling also requires that we lightly scrape the mud off the ball of our foot coming through the bottom. We use our hip flexor to unweight the pedal as it's coming up so that our other leg is not fighting against it. And then we engage the hips and the glutes over the top. And together that's all one beautiful 360-degree pedal stroke. Let's check into how we're feeling. If you're doing what I'm doing, you're feeling a slight bit of challenge in the muscles now. The breathing is definitely coming up. Maybe you're starting to sweat a little bit. If you had to, you could stay with this for another 10 minutes or so, maybe longer. Okay, let's dial our resistance way down and check in. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you just woke up, your breathing is slow and easy, 10 being you're so out of breath you can't say more than a couple words. Where on that scale are you? After an effort like that, I would say for me it was 3 to 4, maybe 5. And remember, we all have our own levels of fitness, our own levels of power in the legs, and we find that which matches the objective measures I've given you about pedal speed and time. Let's practice going up a hill. Dial in heavy resistance. Let's get a cadence of about 60, 62 RPM. A hill feels very challenging. So at this very moment, my legs are kind of hurting. And I can absolutely feel my breathing picking up. But most importantly, I want you to sense that we're still doing a 360-degree pedal stroke. It is easier now to sense those hips, glutes engaging over the top. I sometimes just put my hand there. You can feel the muscles contract. See if you can try that. Now we're not going to stay in this hill a long time, just about another minute or so. So if it just sounds really easy to you, add more resistance. If you don't think you could stay another minute here, that means your resistance is too high. Go ahead and bring it down. And now just breathe deeply. We're going to transition into a flat road. We'll reduce resistance and then bring our pedal speed up. So go ahead and turn down that resistance and come up to around 84, 85 RPM. Breathing deeply. That little hill should have gotten our heart rate up. It certainly made me sweaty. Now on this flat road at about 80, 85 RPM. Let's practice being as present as possible. Go ahead and bring your resistance up. So at this pedal speed, you don't think you could do this for 15 minutes. And again, that'll be a different amount of resistance for all of us. I want you to find resistance at this pedal speed. It seems like you couldn't do it 15 minutes. And now, if it's comfortable for you, go ahead and close your eyes. Just let the music come into the brain. Practicing body awareness. What's your breathing doing now? Is it going up? How do your muscles feel? Checking with your body position. Are your shoulders relaxed? Are your elbows slightly bent? We can tune in really well. Using the body and the breath as our focal points, we can sometimes get into a beautiful flow state. Mind wanders, which it will do, just come back to the moment. All right, let's transition into a really challenging hill. Very challenging. We'll be in about 64 RPM. Dial in your resistance so that it feels like we're really going up a hill. 5, 6, 7, 8% grade. And if we're doing this right, your legs already hurt. Your breath is absolutely increasing along with your heart rate now. This is a wonderful time to look at my hips. You see there's a little torquing motion to them. That's the lower back and the glutes. Engaging over the top. We'll take a short break after this song. So go ahead and challenge yourself. The whole song is about 3.5 minutes. We're already a minute or so into it. Now we're going to stand up. And remember, in a Revo Cycle class, we add massive resistance when we stand, so that we need to bring our body weight out onto the pedals. If that's new to you, practice doing it. Let's try it. In 4, in 3, in 2, in 1. Add resistance, hold your cadence. Now we come back down to our seated climbing. Legs are very tired from that. In a Revo cycle class, that standing for just that 20 seconds or so is extremely hard, and it gets us out of breath. I'm out of breath. In 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, dial it way down. Let's gather our breath for a second. At the end of that hill, if I had to say what my level of out of breathness was, I would say 8. Which, if you don't know, that's exactly how I'd be breathing after riding a similar hill outside. That's what happens with hills. They're very hard. They get you very out of breath. If you're not used to it, that's perfectly fine. You can just learn to find that super heavy resistance that you can still pedal standing, but you couldn't do more than 45 seconds. You'll feel for that. You'll come to know it. You might have noticed I just put in a little resistance, but I'm still pedaling very, very easily. Just gathering my breath. I think one of the most important things we can take away from any exercise practice is the ability to listen to, know, be aware of our body and its signals, the feelings of the muscles, the pedal speed, the heart rate, the out of breathness. That's a real athlete's mindset, knowing yourself. Knowing what those cues are telling you. And the beautiful thing is we can use those cues over and over again in class as a way to be present. It's a way to get out of thinking about the future or regretting the past. We can use those cues as a way to be right here, right now. And by the way, those cues are telling us a whole lot if we'd only listen. When you're ready, go ahead, bring just a tiny bit of resistance in. And just find a nice middle speed, 85 or so RPM. Allow those muscles to re-engage a little bit. Coming up, we have a very challenging 3-song section. In that 3-song section, we're going to touch on all 3 different types of effort on a bike. One will be flat road, going fast, 90 RPM or so. Another will be going uphill. And then finally, we'll visit high pedaling speed, 100, 105 RPM. Our first song is going to be 90 RPM or so. It'll be a flat road, and I want you to practice visualization with this. I want you to bring yourself in your mind to a flat road you know really, really well. It can be from now, it can be from the past. In your mind's eye, you'll be moving along that road at a good rate of speed. It'll be challenging on the muscles, your heart rate will get high, and we'll encounter that place where we need to mentally decide to stay with that hard effort. That's the secret of the athlete, is encountering that and then deciding, I can stay with this. All right, you ready? Get a little resistance on now. Let's get our leg speed up to around 90 RPM. We're just going to feel for this rhythm. I'll give you a few seconds to allow the music to come into the brain, get processed, and then output to the legs. Don't think about anything, just let it be. If you want, you can look at my legs. They're basically at the right speed right now. Let's talk about resistance. This song is 3 minutes 45 seconds. I want you to be able to finish this song at this pedal speed. But I want it to be very challenging. So adjust on your own. The resistance. Take a deep breath from a relaxed belly, and now let's just be present with the music in our bodies. Always come back to your visualization of the road you're on. You can use any sense you have. You can sense the texture of the road through the bike. Smell the vegetation around, or maybe it's the farm fields. You freshly turned to earth. Four, and 3, 2, and 1. Now slow your legs down for just a second. Good job. How's your out of breathness? I'm 5 or 6, maybe 7 on that 1 to 10 scale. All right, transitioning into the hill. We're going to use a little faster cadence than we normally would in a hill. This is going to be in the mid-70s. So add in a little resistance now, not the full hill resistance. And just use the first 10 seconds or so here to find this rhythm, okay? 70, 75, 77 in that ballpark. Yeah, this is about it. Okay, now dial in the resistance. It feels like a pretty challenging hill. And immediately feel your hips, your gluteus muscles engage over the top. And you sense that scraping of the mud from the ball of the foot through the bottom. Belly is relaxed as you breathe. Shoulders are away from the ears. Dial your resistance down good. Now we go to fast flat road pedaling. If you need to stretch your calves, go ahead and do it. If you need to take some pressure off your sit bones, go ahead and do it. All right, fast pedaling. It's very hard to stitch together a full circle pedal stroke at higher pedal speeds. It's very common for the hips to bounce at high pedal speeds. So our goal in this song is to come up to very high cadences, over 100, while remaining smooth, beautifully settled on the saddle. We're going to keep our resistance very light. And now let's go ahead and bring our pedal speed up, and I'm going to give you again a few seconds to feel for this rhythm. Processing of the music and the rhythm and then the outputting of it is a very good mindfulness practice. So go ahead and do that right now. Slow your legs. So let's talk about that. Even with light resistance, that fast pedal speed will get your heart rate up. So that's not so much about challenging the muscles of the legs. It's more about rapid contraction of the muscles while focusing on keeping the hips very stable. Dynamic, yes, but stable on the side. Let's go again. 3, 2, 1. Back up. This time, if you want, you can watch my legs and watch my hips. As you can see, my upper body remains very stable and calm. Slow your legs down again. With your resistance very light, let's take a moment now. Pedal slowly. Let's check in. That's how we're feeling. I feel very sweaty. My legs feel very warm, very supple now. In the beginning, it felt a little clunky. Now they feel strong and powerful and smooth. Together, as we pedal slowly with light resistance, let's bring our attention to our neck and our shoulders. Just bring your awareness to them. Notice if there's any tension in them. Notice if the shoulders are coming up to the ears, and just let them down. Bring your awareness to your arms. Noticing the bend in the elbows. And then finally to the belly. We want the belly to be relaxed during cycling. We don't need to hold it in. In fact, we don't want to hold it in. Just let it relax. This is our final working song. It's a climb. We're going to be at 60 RPM. We'll come out of the saddle a couple times. This will be very, very challenging before we cool down today. Remember, climbs are the hardest thing, well, second hardest thing we can do in cycling. They're very challenging. They're intimidating. Of course, that's why we do it. I'm always nervous before a big, long, painful hill on one of my rides. Always. But I do it anyway. So dial in your steep hill resistance. It's challenging to the muscles. You don't feel like you could hold this 10 minutes right here. Let's get around 60, 65 RPM cadence. Feel those hips, lower back, glutes driving it through the top. Here comes my increased breathing. All right, first time out of the saddle. Remember, add a lot of weight and resistance. Bring your body weight out onto the pedals in 3, 2, 1. Add that in. Chest is nice and high, hands remain light. Now come down. Seated climbing. One more standing to go. Are you ready for our next one? In 3, 2, 1. Add the resistance. Rise into it. Let your body weight help drive those hard pedal strokes. All right, come on down, reduce your resistance. Flat road. I don't know if you can hear my breathing through the microphone. It's a good microphone, maybe you can. But that hill got me to 9 out of 10 on my out of breathness scale. But now we're back to cool down. I have hardly any resistance on at all, and I'm just turning my legs super easy. Our cycling is a practice. No different from meditation, no different from yoga. It's a physical practice, it's a mindfulness practice. It's an awareness practice. What's your breathing doing now? Has it slowed a lot? How do your legs feel? As we cool down here, I want you to pay attention now to how you feel mentally and emotionally. Do you feel less stressed? Do you feel more present? Do you feel more calm? Maybe there's a sense of accomplishment that's very good. Notice that. As your heart rate comes closer and closer to normal now, I'm going to give you some time to stretch. With the music playing, I would like you to start with calf stretches like this, and then just rotate your feet after 30 seconds or so, dropping your heels gently. And then after that, stretch your quads and your hamstrings, and continue your practice of breathing and noticing the body. I'll leave the music going for you for a couple minutes as you stretch and get ready for your day. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.